Hello, I'm Nigel Hewish. I'm the head gardener here at Kingston Maurward College. We're now looking at the formal gardens. Created by the Hanbury family in 1914. Most of it dates from 1920. It's a series of gardens that make up the whole, very much in the arts and crafts style. Each individual garden is either surrounded by yew hedges or walling, as in the balustrade garden. The balustrade garden is a pond which was originally their swimming pool. So it's quite deep. It's 5.5 feet on the house end, 4.5 feet on the far end. So it means that we can grow deep water lilies. It's a very sheltered garden surrounded by the balustrade walling, so we're able to grow plants that are a little less hardy. Our soil is very, very dry, stony, but it's ideally suited to half-hardy perennial plants. We go out from the balustrade garden onto the terrace and then up onto the main terrace. Here we've got 10 very formal rectangular beds, but the bedding is very much in the Edwardian style, more of subtle colours rather than the bright brash colours of the Victorian period. We go from the terrace up onto the rainbow beds. These are beds laid out in colour, so they start from white, yellow, pink, blue, red and purple, so going from light colours to dark colours. So when you're entering the garden looking from light to dark, it foreshortens the view, but if you sit on the seat at the end of the garden and look south, it's looking from dark colours to light colours, so it lengthens the view and you look away to the beech tree in the distance. From there we go up the steps onto the penstemon terrace. We've got about 120, 130 different varieties of penstemon planted out there. We've got around about 150 in the collection altogether. We've got two national collections, penstemons and also salvias. From there we're looking up to the Temple of the Four Winds. Now the temple was created probably by the Hanbury family. We've had this one recreated for us by students from Weymouth College. It took them 4 years. They built the base, then the columns, then the entablature and then the marble floor. It looks out over the croquet lawn. We go from the penstemon terrace up into the red garden and we look from the pond out through the hole in the hedge, which has got a metal screen through and away to the fields opposite. Here we have a summer house and a pond and predominantly red plants, surrounded by copper beech hedging, which ties in with the copper beech avenue. From there we walk down to the brick garden, now a garden surrounded by hedges, and this acts as a bit of a hub. So we look back along the terrace, we look up back towards the red garden, we look down the herbaceous border. This shows what the formal gardens are like. It's going from one room to another and you don't see it all at once. So from there we can go down the herbaceous border to the bird bath at the end and turn back towards the house, and on our left hand side we have the salvias. So here we have our collection of salvias. We've got about 100 so planted out of a collection of about 200 because they need different conditions. Most of these are the half hardy or semi-tender plants. Those that are not hardy we have to keep in pots and grow on in the glasshouse in the walled garden over winter. Then we go up the steps into the crown garden. Now this again is another enclosed garden surrounded by the hedge in the shape of a crown. We look through the diamond in the hedge and back up to the temple above the croquet lawn. Again, another sheltered garden, but this we grow as a cottage garden really, so early summer flowering with the foxgloves, aquiledias, Canterbury bells, sweet williams. But then during the summer we've got some salvias and some summer bedding to give us a little bit of colour later on. From there we walk out onto the acid beds. Now the acid beds were originally put in by the Hanbury family. Our soil is not acid, it's an alkaline soil. So they've imported acid soil to grow rhododendrons, azaleas and magnolias. A lot of those have now gone because the soil has gradually reverted to alkaline conditions, but there are still some azaleas and some magnolias there. But we're now planting shrubs that will cope with the conditions that they now have. And then from there we're back out onto the terrace.